Hello and welcome back to Cricket Happenings, friends and subscribers. This is your host Ram, greeting you all to this cricket. I know it has been a bit irregular, but once again, I'll try to see what I can cover. So it's going to be a synopsis today with a lot of cricket going on. It's Basin Reserve in Wellington, where the first Test match of the series between India and New Zealand it will be going into the third day today, and New Zealand they are leading by 51 runs in the first Test match. Kyle Jamieson on Test debut, very impressive Test debut for this tall 6 feet 8 inch pace bowlers. Looked impressive every way on Test debut, picking up 4 wickets and Indian batting order into a real spin as they were bowled out for 165. The other match that we will be looking at would be in one-day internationals. After a gap of 14 years, can you believe it? West Indies have never won an ODI against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka for the past 14 years, and they were absolutely close to it. 27 runs were required. Lakshan Sandakan, the number 10, walked, then Hasaranga, Vanindu Hasaranga at the crease, and Hasaranga was a hero today. We're playing only his 10th ODI, kept his cool, kept his nerve, shielded Sandakan from the batting, and showed great deal of maturity as he initial part he clubbed Chemo Paul for a stunning six. Then he took on Sheldon Cottrell and slammed him for a couple of boundaries, and finally kept his cool all the way as he nurtured the Sri Lankan innings to a victory. So the first one-day international was as exciting as it could be, as Sri Lanka won the match by 1 wicket. So that is as far as Sri Lanka West Indies were concerned. There was a test match that was happening at Dhaka. This is the one-off test between Zimbabwe and Bangladesh. And I have to say that honors were even on the first day, with Zimbabwe actually at 228 for 6. As you know, Sean Williams, the captain, is not there. He's attending, I think he's not there, unfortunately, unavailable, I suppose. But so the acting captain, or the captain right now, is Craig Irvine. And what a beginning for Craig Irvine by taking up the captaincy in the absence of Sean Williams, going on to make a century as Zimbabwe closed at 228 for 6. And for Bangladesh, it was the right arm off spinner Naeem Hassan who struck it big as he picked up 4 wickets. So let's get cracking here and see what else is going on. So let's first get on to the India versus New Zealand game, and also just look at what happened. As I said, if you look at the Indian card here, India on the first day were bowled out for 165, a highest scorer being Ajinkya Rahane with 46. It was a good toss to win, I thought, for Kane Williamson. Inserted the Indians into bat, and Kyle Jamieson. What a test debut for this wonderful youngster. Tall, 6 feet 8 inches, the tallest bowler ever to play for New Zealand, as Kyle Jamieson had bowled a very tall, fast bowler. But your lengths can go absolutely awry. But this bloke, I have to say, is really showing. It's already started showing glimpses of his prowess here for the future, because what he does is he bowled a perfect length. He bowled fuller length deliveries at the batsman, and also to get the ball absolutely spot on is an art that one has to perfect. And on Test debut, Kyle Jamieson was doing it at a pretty consistent rate, and that's what fetched him the rewards. Tim Southee joined him with another 4 wickets, and New Zealand, in reply, were placed at 216 for 5 going into the third day's play. And there was a big significance about this match, and it was about Ross Taylor playing in his 100th Test match, becoming the first ever cricketer to have played 100 tests in all the formats of the game, in test matches, in one-day internationals, in T20 matches. Take a bow, Ross Taylor, 44, 6 fours, 1 6. Unfortunately, I was thinking that Ross Taylor will get a century, but it was not. He was out for 44. Sharma picking up his wicket as the New Zealand total 216 for 5. Kane Williamson, after being struck very early on in the innings on the finger by Ishan Sharma, delivered, carried on and played those classic strokes that he's known for. As Kane Williamson was out for 89, 11 fours, the highest scorer. Other than that, 216 for 51 runs ahead. And I thought Indians really bounced back towards the end of the second day. But I have to say, unlike the New Zealand pitches that we have seen, we have always seen the ball the pitch gets flatter after the first day, after whatever the purchase it offers to the bowlers, and then it basically gets a bit flattering. It flattens basically. But contrary to the nature, we saw something different happening. There seemed to be some turn in the pitch, which is encouraging news for the Indians. So it's a matter of India actually whittling down the lead of the New Zealand. And I would say, even though New Zealand are currently placed reasonably well, India could really snake in. But nevertheless, it's very early to say that. It all depends on the third day's play as to how India rip out the New Zealand wickets, because they're still back come there. So that is as far as that particular match is concerned. Now, match we are talking about, and I know it would be a real shame if I don't really talk about this game, which was an absolutely down to the wire stuff, as we say in cricket. And let's have a look at this first one-day international between West Indies and Sri Lanka. Wonderful century. I hope. One-day internationals is something which he really revels at. We know that he's a good player as well. He's a complete player, Shai Hope, and this was his 10th one-day international century. 115 of 140 deliveries, which had 10 fours written all over it. The other, we had Dan Brown making 39. Chase made 41 of 45. Other than that, it was Kimo Paul and Hayden Wall at the end, clattering it away. Kimo Paul 32 unbeaten of 17, 4 fours, 1 6. Hayden Walsh 20 not out of 8 deliveries, 2 fours, 1 6. 289 for 7 was on the board. I'm not going to go much in the bowling figures. Isru Udana was really taken to the cleaners, 3 for 82. If you look at the card there from the West Indians, it was a matter of the Sri Lankans actually throwing it away. I thought in the last 5 overs, they really went for a bid there, and that really got the West Indies. But nevertheless, in the end, nothing mattered as the Sri Lankans rode to victory. Well, as far as the Sri Lankans were concerned, 289 to chase. It has never ever been done at the Sinhalese Sports Club ground in Colombo, but that happened today thanks to Hasaranga. Nindu Hasaranga was the hero today. Nindu Hasaranga de Silva, I'm told his name is Hasaranga de Silva, who actually made this happen. Hasaranga de Silva is an all-rounder, and he has really shown that this bloke is really tipped to become a wonderful all-rounder for Sri Lanka. He really showed that particular aura on him. Now, Sri Lanka, if you look at the card there, Avishka Fernando making 50 or 55, 5 fours, 1 6. Karunaratne making 52 or 57, 7 fours. They had, and then Kushal Pereira making 42 or 50. And then suddenly the West Indians got in the game. Hayden Walsh picked up a few wickets, and suddenly it was a situation, as I said, with probably thought that West Indies to win when the score at 206. Isru Udana, the dangerous player, gone in the 46th over. Another 27 odd runs were there. 10 batsmen, only one Pradeep to come, and it all looked absolutely lost for the Sri Lankans, and one was thinking that West Indies are going to win the first match of the ODI series. But Hasangar de Silva kept his cool. First, Sheldon caught him for 2 boundaries in his 10th ODI by shielding Lakshan the strike. But Lakshan Sandakan was there. He was there with, he was there with Hasangar de Silva all the way, barring the delivery when the victory run had to be had, when the scores were actually level. But Hasangar de Silva, I have to say, kept his cool under the circumstances and nurtured the Sri Lankans to victory. He would definitely be a hero because, as I said, at the SSC in Colombo, one has never ever seen such a target being chased. So today that happened thanks to Hasaranga. And what a knock from Hasangar de Silva. Definitely one into Hasaranga. De Silva was named man of the match, was not out on 42 of 39 bobbles, 4 fours, 1 6. He finished it off in 49.1 overs. And 48 for Kimo Paul, 144 holder. Joseph at 3 for 42. Well, dear friends, as I said, it was a wonderful game of cricket at the SSC in Colombo. Now we get on to the another one here. This is Bangladesh versus Zimbabwe. We are talking about the first day's play in the one-off test that happened at Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. Let's have a look at the card. As I said, the first thing that I would like to say as far as this Zimbabwe versus Bangladesh game is concerned is that definitely Zimbabwe were crippled because the main captain, who is Sean Williams, was unavailable, and Craig Irvine was the captain. Craig Irvine really making it count in his first stint as captain, as he went on to make one. In fact, he was the one who held the innings for the Zimbabwean. But not to let's take the credit away from the opener, Prince Masuare. We saw what he did against Sri Lanka, Masuare, and definitely Zimbabwe seemed to be getting some answers for their whatever the questions they had about the batting, because Masuare 64 with 9 boundaries. Craig Irvine holding up the innings and making 107 with 13 boundaries. And other than that, I'm not going to go into much of that because it was some very good bowling from the right arm off spinner from Bangladesh, who got some nice depth, bowled some beautiful floaters, 8 runs for 6. And as I said, out of that, Craig Irvine making, I believe he's a pace bowler. So that was the situation as far as the international cricket was concerned. There are, I won't be in a position to get into. I would definitely love to talk a lot, but as I said, and I don't want to really go and make a very long video, and probably the viewers and listeners also probably lose interest in it. So I'm nowadays trying to prune everything up. And see to it that I could really make a sort of synopsis of what I wanted to really talk. I hope you all enjoyed this cricket broadcast of mine. Just before I go, I would just briefly touch on the Pakistan Super League, and the reason I touch on that because Kamran Akmal actually scored a 55-ball 101 runs for his team, and the team won. So just wanted to briefly touch on that. Other than that, yesterday Ashton Agar got become the second Australian bowler to take a hat-trick in T20 cricket when South Africans were belted out for 89. He in fact had the best bowling figures in T20 cricket for Australia in their history, as he picked up 5 wickets, including a hat-trick. And he was on the verge of a second hat-trick, which would have been the first in the annals of T20 history, or probably the annals of entire cricketing history, I would say. But it didn't happen because I think Shamsi, the ball just missed the biles by an absolute whisker. One has to say Ashton Agar, 5 wickets in his bag, now holds the record for the best ever T20 bowling figures in T20 history for the Aussies. And take a bow, Ashton Agar. And Ashton Agar has also praised the Indian all-rounder Ravindra Jadeja as someone who has been instrumental in him actually going and bowling in such a fashion, and that is something which Ravindra Jadeja, as we call him Sir Jadeja, would be absolutely delighted to know that he was mentioned by Ashton Agar in the post-match press conference. And also, he has also gone on to say that Ravindra Jadeja of India, the all-rounder, is a gun player, and he says that he is the his most favorite player in the cricketing world. And what else does Sir Jadeja need? Sir Jadeja, you are definitely not playing in the first Test match against New Zealand, but you are rocking out there. The Aussies love you. As I love it, actually forces me to talk about cricket. Well, dear fans, friends, and subscribers, all broadcast. If not, it's curtains here from your host Ram on the Cricket Happening Show. But promising you, dear fans, subscribers, being the week, host Ram will be once again up